Okay.
That's the extent of my technical knowledge here. So let's say hello to all the divisions. And again, if you have any new hires in any of your divisions, please stand up and say who you are so we can all welcome you in. Let's start with Vista.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am Vincent French.
Good name.
I knew you like it.
Welcome,
Been in
Vincent.
sales for about 10 years now, so I look forward to working with you all, and I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. Welcome. That orange wall looks great.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, doesn't it? San Diego looks great there.
And this is LA. We have a new hire here. He's right here. You can't see him.
How you doing, guys? Tyler James. This is my second day. I'm really excited to be here, and look forward to working with everybody.
And Fresno.
Oh, me. Okay. Hi. No. Hi, I'm Bree, and I'm the new client coordinator manager here for the Fresno division. So that's me.
Welcome, Bree. Good morning, Sacramento.
Good morning, Vince.
Morning. Good morning, Portland.
What happened to Portland? There they are.
They're in the dark. And Reno. There's Reno.
Yeah.
Good morning, Reno.
Two new people. Kim? Go ahead. Good, Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim. I'm the new client coordinator.
Hello, I'm Carrie. I'm a new merchandiser here and really excited to be here.
And Las Vegas.
Hello.
Hey.
And is Houston on? Houston is not on. North Carolina? Is North Carolina on?
Yeah, there is.
Raleigh. Hey, North Carolina. Good afternoon.
Where are they?
They're on the left with the
Oh,
yellow wall.
there we see. Yeah, hi.
All right. So we were talking this morning, 4th of July.
Don't forget about Salt Lake.
We got new people in Salt Lake.
Where's Salt Lake? Where's my
How can
town?
you forget the best wine?
Them.
They're depriving me of my home.
I got two new people. Here we go. You want to stand up?
Oh, whoops, let's go going.
That's okay.
What happened?
Hi, I'm Mackenzie. I'm the new receptionist and accounts payable.
Hello, my name's Whitney and I'm the new client coordinator.
All right. So, and we spent all morning talking about Salt Lake too.
Yeah, we did to a large degree.
To a large degree. So we talked about 4th of July, and 4th of July is coming up, and what that means to people, what that means to you.
Well, we thought this morning we'd just discuss how lucky all of us are that we live in this country. When you're thinking,
Technology is part of this.
we are, that we live there. And,
We'll just put them on speaker.
It's the boss.
but we'll handle it later. You know, we were talking about the 4th of July and what it means to all of us. And it really is an incredible holiday because, frankly, you have to think in terms of each one of us are here for many reasons. Our forefathers or us or whatever it is got lucky and came here. And what's interesting about this is if you look at the history of this company, we're what, 70
Almost 70 years.
years. We're a perfect example of how lucky you can be here from nothing to grow to a nice little company like this. And all of us enjoy the products of this. And I think it's just hard for me to let this go by, if you don't mind, when you think in terms of where we are. Sorry.
Here.
There. That'll do it. Sorry. You see, I learned a little bit. Even I, as incapable as I am of using these instruments, when I can still use a bow and arrow, it's. So I just thought that we might look at the company, see what it does for us, see how we, each one of us here, can benefit from the wonderful things that we're given just because we live here. And I just sort of thought if we just reviewed a little bit of the history of the company, it might be fun. And when you think about it, look, my brother gets out of being a pilot in World War II in December, the end of December of '45. And by the first week in April, he has started this company. And by the second week in April, I join him. And you know the story. He meets me at the train station downtown, picks me up, tells me that we're in business together, and I'm so thrilled. I mean, now we got a business, and we both just come out of service, the war, and the whole deal. It's great. And all of us are going to have a big deal, he and I. So and that's how we started.
We try to remember the anniversary, and I said, when did you get off the train?
I got off the train in the middle of April of '46. And it was, and from that little beginning where we used a friend's garage, we used our accountant's office for our office, and we had a 37 Packard that we did delivery by getting a trailer that I would deliver out of the back with. And since I'd worked for an accounting firm before, I did the accounting, and anyway, we pulled it together slowly, every year. We kept advancing, and I can't believe what's happened. And I think that all of you people now, we're all in this together, and we're all growing because of this country allows us to do what we want to do what we think we can do under the law. And that's what we have here. It's fabulous. And I, as you know, was fortunate enough to have my brother force me to go through law school, came out, and I just think in terms of, when you think of the history of this country, a great person like George Washington, a very wealthy man with all of his benefits, made such sacrifices to become the first president of this country and the first man in this country to say, I don't want to be a king. Everybody could have been a king in those days. He didn't want to become and set up a royal family. After his second term, he retired and gave us an example of somebody that's incredible. And if we could ever follow that example, we would realize everybody has a right to benefit. Here's a guy that made all kinds of sacrifices, one of the richest guys in the country. And yet he did it. And we, some of the poorest guys in the country, were able to become a little bit like him. It's pretty good, isn't it? And so I just thought that maybe we ought to start this day today thinking in terms of our history. And if it's okay with you, that's about what I got to say.
We talked about the company starting and anniversaries, and it was really neat. We talked about the 25th anniversary, and I learned that when Ernest had its 25th anniversary, it celebrated with a carnival theme. There were clowns, there were carnival rides inside the warehouse, and games and whatnot. And did you win a pocket knife, or did you somehow, was it a carnival game? Maybe you did something? So this is 1970, and so Mr. Wilson somehow wins a pocket knife, and you still have it today, right?
I think so.
So I asked him about, we bring up this carnival and we talk about the pocket knife. And so we're talking about it and he pulls it out and he still has it today.
Huh, so you remembered that, huh?
And the great
How
story is
about
that
that? It
he
says-
almost,
Ernest Paper Company. How about that?
and it was almost taken from, or was taken from you in an airport, right?
Yeah, right. You know, they were so afraid this was going to harm somebody that they took it from me. But they said if I paid them, they would mail it back to me. And darn it, they did. That was about 10 years ago. So
So you've had that since
But I still have it.
1970.
I use it too. I look at it.
So something that we just talked about that I learned is the phone number on that pocket knife. So earlier phone numbers, they before there were area codes, phone numbers had a word and then 5 digits afterward. I don't know if anyone remembers that or not. I just read an article in LA Magazine, and so there's 2 or 3 companies in LA that still have these phone numbers where you say the word, and then there's 5 digits afterward, and the first 2 letters of the word are the first 2 numbers. And so on that pocket knife is, what's the number, Mr. Wilson?
It's Ludlow 36561.
And that number still rings to Ernest today. So
We still have that number here.
we still have that number. So if you give out the number Ludlow,
LU
LU.
36561. 213,
it'll still ring here.
58366561. But or you can use LU.
We called it from our cell phone, and Willie May answered the phone.
So
That's a lot of fun to know that.
there's a little bit of history to this company. And the reason we have the history is all of us that have been working and doing things for it. So I think that having fun, enjoying our work, and realizing how lucky we are, that's what we should do on the 4th.
Absolutely. We also talked about Salt Lake when they had their 100th year anniversary, and you were able to go back to the town that you grew up in and experience that.
Yeah, that was really
It was a
great.
carnival theme as well.
Our first acquisition was Salt Lake.
And I forgot about them.
The great thing about that was that Izzy Wagner's family had developed this company, and of course we were friends of Izzy, and that was our first acquisition. So we were fortunate enough to maintain it, and to this day it's still Wagner, and to this day they're doing a great job, and we're all part of this wonderful country that gives us all the opportunities. And Izzy was an incredible guy. He was a Marine in World War II. Little guy, he's terrific, and left the city of Salt Lake a lot of wonderful things. And so we were very proud that he allowed us to purchase the company, and we had many good times together with Izzy. So I think that's great when you think about it. I left Salt Lake in 1938 as a boy. I was 14, and we moved because there were no jobs for my brother who just graduated high school. And nice to come back and have our first acquisition there. So I have a warm spot for Salt Lake because it's this country. This is our history. This is what we can do, all of us. But we have to do it together.
We talked about peanut butter and jelly and root beer sandwiches.
Well, that's was a big deal. When my mother had enough money, we would go to Keeley's, a little place, and I'd get my brother and I. She'd buy us a peanut butter sandwich and A&W root beer. So that was pretty good, I think it cost $0.25 in those days. Well, that was $0.25 each.
So I didn't know this about you, but I learned that you were quite the horseman, if that's the proper term, riding horses. You would go on, is it cowboy dude ranches for vacation?
Not cowboy dude ranches, no. Growing up in Salt Lake particularly, everybody learns to ride Western, and it was when I finally had the wherewithal, after I'd been married a while, was in business, then I could go on vacations, and we would, like up in the High Sierras or that, we would do, when I was in Salt Lake, we'd use one or two horses as pack horses when we'd hike up into the mountains. But I love riding, and I just think it's great to be able to ride on a Western horse. And
you were fairly good, right? I mean, you could run and trot.
Good. I could stay on the horse. And I also learned the smartest thing is they're dangerous horses, and if you're not careful, you can really get yourself. And you got to always watch it. But I was taught well, and so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that.
You wore a cowboy hat?
Well, we all did, and we have got cowboy boots and blue jeans, Everybody did that.
I've got a picture right here. Just kidding.
So why don't we talk about important things?
Well, I thought it was really neat to learn. We talked about the country, not that this is related to 4th of July, but the car that you bought and how you could get a discount. So Mr. Wilson buys a car, I don't remember the year, but there's a discount if you would travel to Detroit and buy the car. And it was probably one of your favorite colors. I don't know.
This was terrible. My wife, the big deal, we find she'd always been promised a car by her family, and we got, for our wedding, we got a convertible Chevrolet. And it was her car, of course. And it was a wonderful car. From a stop, it could almost keep up with a bike that started with it. It had no power, but it looked good. So that was okay. So my brother and I, we always bought cars, and so my brother wanted to get a convertible. Well, I didn't want another convertible, so I got myself a Buick, a little Buick. And we bought Buicks that year, the cheap Buick. And for some reason, I got a green Buick. It was bright green. My wife died, but we went to Detroit, and by going to Detroit, we could save maybe $100 or something, and we could pick it up and drive it home. So it was great. So I had this green Buick, and my wife had troubles for about 3 years. Had to keep a car at least 3 years, And so that's the story of that car. I loved it, though. Never see a bright green car that you can pull up on.
And you had to race back to vote, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we voted for Adlai Stevenson. I think he got our 2 votes. That was it.
Eisenhower got the rest of them.
Was I? No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
I forget who he was running against. Anybody. He was a great guy, though, really.
So the bright green car.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And the 4th of July that we wanted to end everyone with and wish everyone a safe time with their families.
Yeah, well, it's coming up Saturday, and I just want to thank each and every one of you. I just wanted you to think about how lucky we are. And that was the purpose of today's conference. I hope you understand that what a day this is, that each and every one of us here should think it through and realize, wow, man, I made it. What a lucky guy or gal I am. Maybe I should have said gal first, right? Sorry, ladies.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Enjoy and be safe, everyone.
Be safe.